Hello everyone. We've gotten quite a few requests that in terms of the stacking feature, if there's ways to eliminate support when you're stacking multiple objects. So today we wanted to show how to do that, as well as show a couple different ways to stack objects, as well as ways to provide a larger scale of ease when you go to separate those objects. So today the file we're going to be using is the COVID-19 headband designed by Prusa. This is a pretty common print in the 3D printing community today, so this might be a good example. So as last time, we want to add a part within that same envelope of parts that we have. So it'll add underneath this drop-down menu so that if you have one selected, you can move them around, and if you have one selected, you can move them individually. So we'll just Control-Z that to move that back where we want. So there's a couple other softwares that can stack these automatically. However, there's a bit of variance that we've seen on the internet. Some people say that they stack using an outsourced software and they still have trouble slicing it. This can be commonly due to empty layers. Other ways that this can happen is that they use an external software and the prints can lack quality due to the transitioning layers between the stacking. So we'll show a couple ways to deal with that as well today. So we have this second headband. So the first way to do it would be just to plainly stack them one on top of another with no separation. So we can see that the size is 20 millimeters in the Z-axis. So with our second one selected, we'll put this up to 20 millimeters and it'll stack just right on top of each other. So if we go to slice this, it'll slice just fine because this is basically a continuous print. So we'll show a bit of an issue with this when we go to look at it. So if you kind of look at the layer height, if you decrease it, so at this point where the two headbands attach, there's no proper separation. So this can prove a little bit difficult when you go to separate the parts. It can be either a little bit difficult or it can ruin the two prints or something can break. This is one option and it has proven successful to some people. However, some people do prefer to have a bit of separation. So one way we can have to add in a little bit of separation is we can have this one that we just moved up to 20 millimeters. And we found a good separation height to be about 0.4 millimeters, so about 2 layers printed at 0.2 millimeter height. So what this will do is it'll add a tiny bit of height of separation in between the two masks. So the only problem that this can pose is when you go to slice, the Prusa Slicer will sense an empty layer and you'll get a notification warning saying that it can't work because empty layer is detected. So there we go. So one thing we can do with this is to add a support enforcer. So we can add a support enforcer. So the way that we've showed before in our previous video is we had a box and we went and we scaled it. And we did a big scale to the entire build plate volume like so, and you slice it and you find out that all this does is it can solve the problem of having your empty layers, but as you'll see, it adds a lot of support and this is unnecessary. This can be useful if you're slicing things that you need support quite often for example, for these overhanging parts. If there was things like this all around your print that you wanted support for, encompassing the entire build volume can be a very quick, easy, and effective way to do this. But when you're trying to eliminate support like we are in here and try to save print time, there's a different way we can do that. So we'll get rid of this support block here and we'll show you a different way. So we found an effective way to do this by adding a support enforcer, but we'll do a cylinder here. And what we can do is make this cylinder very, very small. So you can make it tiny, like so. Pretty much a sliver, so it's non-existent. And we'll just scale this up in height, just so you can see where it is. And we'll just put that sort of right here in between the print, just to show for the fact that there's a small area here where there won't be a missing layer. So now, when you go to slice this, there won't be any support, and Prusa will detect that one support enforcer that's there, as a non-empty layer, and it will pretend that this is sort of a uniform print. So when this finishes up here, we'll be able to see. So there we go. So you can see right here is where the layer is, and then we scale it down and we can see that there we go. There's some nice separation between the print, and it'll be a lot easier to separate these when you go to print these. So another thing that we have found is that there can be a bit of print quality issues when printing something like these, because the slicer does detect this as sort of a continuous print. So it'll have sort of the same settings all the way through. So one thing we can do to sort of enhance the properties of the prints at the top layer here and the bottom layer of the connected masks is we can add a modifier. So we can add a modifier in here, and let's do a box. We want to make sure the scaling factor is unlocked so it doesn't scale uniformly. If it is locked and we go to change this, it'll all move uniformly. So you want to change that so it's unlocked. So we had a 0.4 millimeter separation here. So we want 0.4, and we'll say we want one layer each. So if we have the settings at 0.15, one layer each would add an extra 0.15, so that times 2 would be 0.3, and then plus 0.4 will get 0.7. So let's change this to 0.7 millimeters. So it'll give us a nice flat sheet. And then let's make this 200 by 200, just because that'll sort of get us across the whole layer. So if we set the height of this to 9.85, which will get us just the one layer below, we can see that this will kind of overlap with just the very top layer of the first print and the very bottom layer of the second print. So you can click on the settings on this generic box support enforcer, and then you can go to add settings, and you can change things like the speed, the infill, and extrusion width. So let's look at the speed here. So things like the top solid infill will be a pretty big one, because you want to slow down the speed in the top infill to get a little bit better quality. And then things like just the regular infill, and then the solid infill, which will sort of represent the first top layer of the next print. So once we get down to that, we see that we have different speed settings we can select for this very specific layer. So for the infill, we can bump that down to what we would expect the bottom layer infill to be, about 20 millimeters per second. The solid infill, pretty typical for the Prusa, is 80. However, as we know in the 3D printing community, someone who says 80 is a great speed for me might not work for someone else with the exact same printer, exact same filament. That's just how things tend to be sometimes. And then for the top solid infill, we can just put that down to 20, just because personally that's what we found to work pretty well. So then when you go to slice this, what will happen is that in this continuous print, the printer will acknowledge this generic box as sort of its own layer, and it will follow these print speeds once it gets there. So that should help in enhancing the print quality as well as your ability to separate these layers. This is a pretty common technique that can be used if there's solid support through all of these, if you've designed for additive manufacturing and you just want to add a couple nice layer separation in between here to enhance your print, this is a good technique too. So you can do this. It's a fairly quick thing to do, so you don't have to download any external software and load this in. You can just quickly stack an object on top, do it multiple times, add one support enforcer in, scale it up all the way, and you should be pretty good to print in a matter of seconds. And if you wanted to duplicate this, since we've done this all inside this specific envelope, you can have this selected. Get rid of that. You can have this selected, and you can add instance. Oops, sorry, add instance, and it'll pretty much duplicate everything you've done, so you can double your productivity right away, and then just change the orientation how you'd like. I want to make sure the appropriate thing is actually selected here. and then put it on the build plate so that you can properly slice and double your production. So hopefully this was a nice video that provided some tips and techniques that'll help everyone in their daily printing activities, as well to possibly ramp up the production and maybe quality of some of these prints. Hopefully this is useful. If you found this useful, let us know. We'd love to hear some feedback, and share some settings if you found a couple things to be useful, maybe a couple things to not. That would be great. And hopefully we can help the 3D printing community continue to provide some great quality masks at a high production rate for the healthcare workers. So thank you guys for listening, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video.